All right, this is part two of the Black conservative and how it does not pay to be a Black conservative in America. This is Ken Blackwell. Some of you might remember this man. During the time of George W. Bush, he was a huge cheerleader for George Bush. And during the time of the election, he made several TV appearances in favor of George Bush. At the time, he was the mayor of Cincinnati, Ohio. Ken always came off kind of on the nasty side and arrogant when he was on TV, and was not a real strong supporter like many Black politicians in office. They do a lot of lip service, but literally do nothing for the Black community. Well, Ken here was no different in Cincinnati. Oh, how they come and go. Michael Steele. Some of y'all might remember. Oh, Mikey. Michael Steele. Don't you remember? He was the chair of the National Committee for the Republican Party. And all they did was bitch and complain the whole time. He was. I remember how much they complained and bitch and took the, all of the political funding and everything went through that committee, and they even took the money away from Michael Steele. Now, they didn't do that to any of the white chairs that were before him, but when Mikey got in office, when Mikey got there, they changed the rules. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, they changed the rules. Michael Steele always tried to appeal to Black people to become Republican, but as you can see, it failed. These people just don't have the ability to influence in that kind of way. But Michael Steele, another very pro-Republican, still is. He's still a Republican, but during the time of Obama, he was talking very bad about Obama. So of course a Black man talking bad about another Black man. That's what they love seeing. So they kept him on TV as long as he was doing that. But Michael has since faded into the woodwork, and nobody has seen him very much these days, and you won't. Like I said, the life of a conservative in the US is very limited, and you got a career that will be gone in no time. That's the only thing that you will see happen to a Republican that's Black. I mean, it seriously don't pay to be a Black Republican. But we're going to move on to the next one. Bye, Mikey. Armstrong Williams. Now, some of you might remember Armstrong here, another one that very pro-Republican and major sellout in every sense of the word. This man was a serious sellout. Anyway, he was a big political commentator at the time, and he had a show that was in national syndication. And I believe he's still on radio, but you definitely don't see him on TV anymore. Back in the 90s, I believe he was big in television and, always speaking the conservative point of view. But again, another one that was a major sellout. As soon as I think as soon as the 90s were over, I think he kind of just disappeared. I don't even think they have this man on for guest appearances anymore. He's not on at all. But he got caught up into, ladies and gentlemen, he got caught up in a sexual harassment case. And I think it just recently got settled, maybe a year ago. He got caught up in a sexual harassment case. Yeah. So much for that. Bye, Armstrong. Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice was another Republican, very big during both father and son Bush White House. She worked in both, I believe, yeah, she did. She worked in both White Houses. And Condoleezza, actually, I think this is a very smart woman, you know. And I always thought she was attractive, but she was a Republican. She was at one time during the Bush administration, the Secretary of State. Now that she's not in political office anymore, you sure don't see her that much. They don't even, again, they don't even invite these former Black conservative, people that were working strong in their parties. They don't even invite them on as guest speakers. They don't even want to hear nothing from them. Gone, and they want them to stay gone. But yeah, they don't even have these people on speaking. They don't invite her on as a guest. They don't do none of those things. So I think if I don't see Condoleezza picture online, I don't even think about her. So there you go. This was a very controversial judge. She became a federal judge. Her name was Janice Roger Brown, and she's actually retired now. She was a very controversial pick for a federal judge spot during the George Bush administration. She was also known for her conduct in court. Going before Janice Roger Brown was like going before a white judge. Okay, I don't know how to put it no other way. Going before her was like going before a white judge, if you were Black. And she was a controversial pick during the time of the Bush administration. And I remember they had her hearing was shown on TV. But she ended up getting confirmation and everything. It really didn't stop anything, but she was a Black Republican. She is retired now from the bench. She's no longer on the DC Circuit Court of Appeals. And again, another conservative that had a name that was known out there during the time of the Bush administration. And you don't hear a peep out of her. Again, Black conservatives are never welcome back to the media. You don't see them trying to interview her, trying to do anything, but she did everything in favor of Republicans, though. But they don't have these folks back. I don't care how much you achieved, how much education you had. In fact, most of these conservatives that I'm showing you were educated. So it has nothing to do with, so when they tell you you achieve on merit and not race, that's a lie. You achieve on race in America. You can best believe it, and that will always be true. How many of you remember Ron Christie? Ron Christie was the Paris Denard of his time. Okay. Ron Christie used to work for Dick Cheney during the Bush administration. And when Ron Christie got on TV, well, this is what he looks like now because, he's aged, but this is what he looked like on TV. Some of y'all might remember this dude. He would argue you down to the ground over the Republican Party. In his eyes, no white politician is ever wrong. Even when they're wrong, they're not wrong. So the same way that you see Paris Denard on TV arguing, trying to always make Trump right, Ron Christie is the predecessor that did it before him. Okay. So really, Paris, you're mooching off of Ron. He was way before you. But again, Ron is another conservative that has just faded away. You don't see him anymore. You don't see him as a guest. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens to Black conservatives. They come, they go. They do not have lasting power. It is a fact. It's a fact. Please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on that notification bell, and I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.